Rock musicians have been standing out from the crowd for half a century. I am the crowd. Hi, my name is Peter Van Raalte, and I'm the frontman of a metal band called Pyre. We've got an album out. You can find it in all these places. But we're going to come back to that in just a minute, because some of you might be wondering what that title sequence is all about. So we're a bit different to most bands, because we're genetically identical. Yeah, and human cloning sounds pretty out there as an idea, but as you might imagine, I've done a fair bit of reading into it, and it's not as far-fetched as you might expect. I'm going to commit a bit of a social faux pas now and tell you how old I am. I was born in 1987, which was 4 years before the end of the Cold War. And I mean, throughout that war, scientists were doing some pretty wild stuff, but particularly sort of towards the end, you know, as they started to get desperate. Well, in 1986, Soviet nuclear scientists were trying some fairly unsafe experiments playing cowboy in Chernobyl. We know how that ended. And then there's things like the Kola borehole, which is where Soviet scientists decided to drill, I think, 12,000 feet down into the Earth's crust, just because they could. I don't know what the stated goal of that research was, learn more about it, sure, but it's full of Earth. Yeah, they drilled a big hole down the ground. Yeah. And I mean, that's just the other side. What about Operation Blue Peacock? The nuclear landmines powered by chickens. Yeah, that was an Allied one. So, yeah, I think it's not at all hard to believe that that one or more sides might have been interested in human cloning enough to research it, to do something about it. And what could they have done? Well, I think the most famous instance of cloning that anyone knows of was Dolly the sheep, who was successfully cloned in 1996. So just 9 years later. And I know Dolly was a sheep, but mice and humans shared 97% of the same DNA. Are we saying there's something that special about the last 3% that we can clone a sheep or a mouse, but not a person? As you might have guessed, I'm not a biologist. For all I know, there is something very different about that last 3%. I don't know. But it doesn't seem beyond the realms of plausibility, does it? So, yeah, genetically identical. That doesn't mean, by the way, that we're just copies and always give the same answer in the same situation. Obviously, every person is a product of both their nature and their nurture. You know, the set of genes that they inherited, but also they're a product of their environment. You know, everything that happens to them, every way that they're raised, with every interaction they had, and we all had very different upbringings, very different backgrounds. And so, yeah, while we all look pretty much the same, I think we behave quite differently. We give different answers to the same questions. It's been quite interesting, actually, sort of over time, watching where we do share common threads in terms of what we think about things. We often reach the same place from different directions, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's an odd one. So, why now? Well, basically, the other 5 turned up on my doorstep a few years ago. Here's our attempt at a reconstruction. Good morning, and welcome to the Pyre video blog. I'm sorry it's been so long. I've tried to record a new entry at least a dozen times, but I didn't have that much to say. I've been working steadily on the album though. It's coming along well. It's nearly done. Bloody hell! So, as you can see, my acting skills aren't the best in the world, but they're the only acting skills I got, so kind of stuck with it. But that's pretty much what happened. Just 5 of them turned up on my doorstep one day. The reason being that I'm the original, if you like. I'm the only one of the group born of woman. The other 5 were grown somewhere, and then each was shipped off to live a quiet, unnoticed life with an adoptive family somewhere in a different country, each far away. From Australia to the US, that kind of thing. Yeah, but as we get further and further from the days of those superpowers, we become, I think, more relaxed and more open as societies. Secrets have a habit of coming out. They say secrets have a shelf life, and I think no one wanted to be just quietly hushed up in the night somewhere, so they all snuck out of their respective countries, snuck into mine, and we thought, get together and do something public enough that people would miss us if we weren't there. Not call a press conference and cause a media circus, but form a band, get some recognition, some people who know where we are, so that, we might be missed if just suddenly there's radio silence. So that's what we've been doing. We spent a few years recording an album. That's all done now, finally. And as I said, you can find it in lots of places. So, let me think. It's on Spotify. It's on all the other things much like Spotify. It's on YouTube. Again, yeah, you can stream the whole thing there. It's on Bandcamp. Yeah, it's on Bandcamp at the highest possible quality, and I think you can listen to it 3 times all the way through before you have to pay for it. If you're old school, you could even, send us money on PayPal or something, and we'll ship you a CD, old-fashioned way. But the great thing is that at last we have our Pyre website, pyreweb.co.uk. Yeah, here at last, and worth waiting for. I think it looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm really happy with how the website looks. So that's got sort of our background written out. It's got or rather is going to have sort of some interviews with each of us. It's got news feed, it's got photos, it's got, again, a few tracks there that you can listen to for free over and over, all that sort of thing. The Pyre website is definitely something to check out. And then we're also in all the usual places on social media. We have a Facebook page, as I said, we're on Bandcamp, obviously we're on YouTube, and the place we're most active is Twitter. Twitter's quite ideally set up for us because each of us has a separate account, and then there's one main band account that retweets everything from each of those accounts. So basically, if we're all talking, you only need to go to one place to see what we're all saying, and it should be pretty obvious who's saying what, because you can just mouse over it and it says which one of us is saying it, with a photo from that account and that sort of thing. So yeah, we're on at least one of us is on Twitter most days. We've been fairly quiet for a while. You might notice that sort of album figures, sales figures aren't that high, but that's, as I say, we've been on a bit of a media blackout sort of until the website's there, and so this is our big push out of the dark to really get our names out there. So if you want to hear more from us, check us out on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us here, go to our Bandcamp, check out the website, all those sorts of things. What have we got that's coming up recently? We are going to be doing some interviews, like just short talking to the camera video interviews with each of our members, just sort of talking about our background and what kind of stuff we're into, and that's going to be on the website, but of course the website will, I think, probably link to YouTube, so subscribers on here should see it as well. Cool, I think that's all there is to mention for now, and I'll see you next time.